Okay, hello everyone. My name is Adimana Fikri, and welcome to our debate for Group 1 in Critical Speaking Universitas Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa. This time, I'm as a moderator. My name is Adimana Fikri. I will guide you in this debate for tonight. The topic of this debate are the parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on the technology. So for the rule for this debate are the speaker have 3 minutes of limit that they have to give their argument in the 3 minutes. And after that, after all the speakers send their argument, you need to give your 1 minute reply speech for each affirmative or opposition team. So for this speaker one in the affirmative team, Talitha Rahma, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you to the moderator for opening the sections. I am Talitha Rama, coming from the first speaker of affirmations, and my friend Muhammad Albantani as the second speaker of affirmation, and last one is Elda Nabila as the third speaker of affirmation. So from the topic today is parents should limit the amount of time their children spend on technology. So I think I agree with that because like example here, smartphones. Smartphones are mobile phones that have a computer-like functions. So I think according to William and Sawyer, smartphone is a mobile phone with a microprocessor, memory, and built-in modem. This also a multimedia where there are camera, music players, video games, digital televisions, and GPS. So the evolution of the time, smartphone continues to grow from year to year. Smartphone also doesn't have cables and internet access and also can bring around and use anywhere. So the continuous use of smartphone will certainly have a negative impact on children's behavior. Children who tend to consciously use smartphone will be very dependent and become activities that must and are routinely carried out by children's activities. So it cannot be denied that nowadays children are more often play smartphone instead of studying or interacting with the surrounding environment. This is very worrying because when they were children, their mindset was still unstable, especially with the access to the content that is not good and such as scene of violence that children see in games or films, as well as pornography, are believed to negatively affect the children's behavior and abilities. So I think maybe that's enough for me.
Okay, thank you for the speaker one from the affirmative group for your giving your argument. And now let's move on the first speaker for the opposition group. I would like to invite Sheila Mitha to give your arguments. Sheila Mitha, you have 3 minutes as usual to give your speech. So Sheila Mitha, the time is yours.
Thank you for moderator. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sheila Mitha. I'm as the first opposite speaker, and my team consists of Rosa Amelia as the second speaker and Fahri Ahmad Husaini as the third speaker. I disagree with the motion because parents take a firm attitude by providing schedules and giving examples and explanations to avoid child's level of addiction in using gadgets. In this case, parents must be able to become teachers for their children because gadgets can be used as a medium to stimulate children in a good way. So for that reason, The role of parents will be very vital, and children really need to be paid special attention so that later they do not deviate in the use of smartphones. Children who are not restricted from an early age will indeed cause many negative effects, namely addiction, but later it can be dangerous if they are limited because the child will steal time in using a smartphone. Maybe that's all.
Okay, thank you for Sheila Mitha to give your arguments about this topic. And now let's move on the second speaker in the affirmative team. And I would like to invite Muhammad Chikal Albantani to give your arguments. And as usual, you have 3 minutes to give your arguments. And Chikal Albantani, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, the moderator, and let me explain my argument. For the first is children who use smartphones are found to be negative. Some examples of the negative impact of smartphones. The first is decreasing in socializing because here children will play less and interact with friends and their environment, and the danger is that children will not care about the life around them because they are only engrossed in their smartphones. Second is lazy to write and read because this is due to the use of smartphones. For example, when children open videos on YouTube, children will tend to see them without having to write what they want to look for. The third is decreased concentration in learning, because while studying, their minds are already anesthetized with smartphones, and therefore they lack concentration during study time. The fourth is addiction. If a child is dependent on a smartphone, it will be difficult to cure it. Here the role of parents is very influential in whether or not a child is dependent on a smartphone. The last is cause eye problems because smartphones have radiation which is actually harmful to the body and eyes. Eyes that often stare at smartphones as a result can cause eye minus, and it's very disturbing for children's vision. Okay, thank you. That's all from me. Okay, the moderator.
Okay, that's very exciting of your arguments. And now I would like to invite Rosa Amelia as the second speaker of the opposition team. And Rosa, you can give your response of the affirmation team, and the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, the moderator. So, I disagree with the opinion of the second speaker of the affirmative team because although it has a negative impact, the use of smartphone can have a positive impact. Some example of the positive impact of smartphone. First, train children intelligence because they will directly deal with writing, numbers, pictures, and of course they will learn it in school. Second, the development of child imagination because the child will see the picture, then he will listen to the picture, then the picture is interesting and also and always remembers in the child head, then the child will draw according to his imagination, which train his child own thinking power. Third, increase self-confidence. When a child can win a game on a smartphone, he will feel love and confidence. This attitude must always be instilled in children so that children are not afraid to interact or speak in front of many people. And the last is develop reading skills because here the child will be curious about something that makes the child need for learning arise by itself without being forced by the parents. Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, this is getting very exciting. So now we are move on the third speaker for the affirmative team. And I would like to invite Elda Nabila to give your response about how the second speaker of the opposition team, Rosa Amelia. So, Elda, you have 3 minutes to give your argument and response, and the time is yours.
Alright, thank you, moderator. I disagree with Rosa's opinion, and I totally agree with this motion because problematic smartphone use might lead to development of certain behavioral and mental problems. The attachment that youth in this area has with their smartphone made them to feel that they cannot live without their smartphone around them. Students tend to surf internet and play online games as a way to release their mental stress from stress that they experience in terms to escape from problems that they face from their friends or their schoolwork. Most children using smartphones are usually used to play games out of the total usage of time. Apart from watching animation and cartoon games, it turns out to be very interesting in the eyes of children, especially young children. It is rare for young children to use smartphones to communicate or to watch learning videos. Children tend to be very enthusiastic against games. Even though certain games can also change a child's personality, there are even games that are designed for adults but early childhood has already played it. The impact is very dangerous for children and their environment because the mindset of children is still unstable and still like to imagine because children are easily influenced by what they learn and what they see. That is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, that's all for the affirmative team. And now we are move on the last speaker for the opposition team. And I would like to invite Fahri Ahmad Husaini to give your response and your arguments about this topic. And Fahri, 3 minutes. The time is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Now, I disagree with the third speaker of the affirmative team because in this case, child is not wrong because they think the smartphone is a toy for them. When they see a smartphone in their house, they want to hold it and then want to play it like other toys. Small children usually like new toys, especially for technology, such as smartphones featuring various things such as games and cartoons. In addition to games, other activities can be done so that the use of smartphones can still be used by children. For example, watching learning videos is fun and exciting when using children's smartphones will add insight and knowledge if you often watch learning videos, especially for early childhood. I believe that early childhood will not be affected by the use of smartphones if parents are smart in directing what their young children will watch. Parents play an active role in giving positive input to their children because usually children will obey everything their parents say. In reality, the presence of technology cannot be avoided because it is growing and will always be in our midst. It's time for parents to be ready to accept the existence of technology and children also to use it. It all depends on how parents always pay attention to the condition of their children in using technology. In fact, in this sophisticated era, children also need to be familiar with technology. Many shows can be used as daily study guides, like seeing letters and numbers from an early age. On the other side, technology like smartphones have benefits for children learning, which can be a positive thing for children if because if they continue to watch, they'll get used seeing a lot of numbers and letters. Parents should take this opportunity. They can accompany their children to educate and teach children by explaining them about numbers and letters. Assistance cannot be replaced by anyone or anything. Parents must be willing to spend time assisting their children. Children who use smartphones are the responsibility of parents because they do not understand what they are doing. They just want to play smartphones, like toy in general, of which are very interesting and fun. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, that's all of our speaker arguments. And now we are move on the reply speech for the uh, each team will give your argument in 1 minute for the reply speech. So Fahri, you will give your time now.
Thank you. I believe this time we of the opposite group are going to win this debate as we already provided examples. Explanation that children becomes lazy playing games all day because the lack of parents' control. That is what should be enforced, not limiting their time. And the other group pointed that they can indeed develop by using technology. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fahri, for giving your reply speech as the opposite team. And now let's move on the affirmative team. So Elda, you have same you have same 1 minute to give your reply speech. And now the time is yours.
All right, thank you, moderator. So, from these arguments the affirmative team already deliver, we believe that this motion is true because in real life we found that many children are using technology too much, that they are forgetting time passing by. Children also need more physical activity rather than playing with phone. As a result, we believe to win this debate because we already provide example and facts to support our arguments and we strongly agree with this motion. Thank you.
Okay, that's all of our debates group from the group one. So now this is very important. We have ended the session of the debate. So thank you for coming in. This is very important because we are as the young adult to need to know how, why, and are you agree with the parents should we limit the amount of time their children and spend on technology, and each group have give their argument, and that is your opinion to agree or disagree with their arguments and response. Thank you for coming in. My name is Adimana Fikri for as moderator in as a group one. Thank you for coming in. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam
Salam
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, moderator.